Hi guys, happy Tuesday. Welcome back. Today's topic is kind of following up on mental models. If you saw my last Therapy Tuesday, it is on patterns of beliefs that we hold about ourselves that kind of trap us into thinking one way or another. Today's mental model is about, am I good enough? A question that often comes to most people's mind, but no one will ever bring it into consciousness. It's kind of a subconscious theory in our mind. Am I good enough? If you were to ask people, do you think you're good enough? It's kind of interesting because the reaction is usually very extreme. There's usually a lot of defensiveness that comes into play because most people are actually trying to get themselves to believe that they think they're good enough, but the reality is they really don't. And when I ask them this as a therapist, they actually get scared thinking that I'm onto them and that I know that they don't believe they're good enough, which is what causes that reaction. So why don't we believe we're good enough? And what are some things we can do to actually allow us to believe we are good enough? So if you want to know if you actually don't think you are good enough, ask yourself, what is my self-concept? What do I think of myself? Do I think I deserve the good things that are happening in my life? What are some of the good things that are happening for me? And do I believe that I deserve them? How often do you find questioning yourself because someone else from an outsider's perspective has told me that I'm not good enough in a way that has made you feel like they're basically saying you're not good enough? So it might be that they're saying, oh, I don't like your outfit. And to you, it means that they don't think you're good enough. So different things that different people can say to you that will make you think you are not worthy or good enough. How often is that happening for you? And how often do you find yourself worried about what people think of you? For example, let's say you're going to a party and you get all dressed up. You really try to put your best foot forward and look beautiful. When you leave the door, what is your perception of yourself? And what is your perception of yourself when you get back in? If you leave the door thinking you're 10 out of a 10, and come back thinking you're 2 out of a 10, what that tells me, or more importantly, what it should tell you, is that you were looking for that external validation, and because you didn't get enough compliments, or because you didn't hear that you look good enough, you made your mind up that you were actually wrong, and that what you originally thought when you left the door is not accurate. And that's when external validation comes in. If you are looking for that external validation, it means that your self-concept is not strong. It means that you actually don't believe you are good enough. And that's why you're searching for that external validation. Now, there are a couple of things that we do when we actually don't believe we're good enough. We go into perfectionism mode, which is something I'm sure all of you are very familiar with. That whole perfectionism comes in when we're really worried about what people are actually going to notice about us that we notice about ourselves. I'm going to give you an example. I usually like to give external examples because I think it's always easier than the deeper ones to really fully understand. So bear with me while I use these kind of examples. But let's say you're really worried about your skin and you think you have acne scars or whatever. So you spend like 2 hours putting on foundation to try to cover it up and make it look really, really good, okay? So you're really looking for that perfectionism and you really are pounding all that foundation on. You go out and you're really waiting for people to tell you your skin looks good because you're so worried about it. So you've now gone above and beyond to portray something to the outside world that regardless of really what they think or do, you're still gonna hold that belief because you actually really know what your skin looks like and what your beliefs about your skin are. So that's perfectionism, when we are going above and beyond to fix something or make something look good because we're actually trying to run away from a negative belief that we hold about ourselves. Another way is control. We go into controlling things that we're able to control because there's major things that are out of our control. For example, eating disorders, or essentially that the person who is suffering from an eating disorder is trying to control their life, and one thing that they can control is their eating. So they go into an extreme mode of controlling what they're eating. That's really what bulimia is. It gives them power, it gives them control because it's something that's easily controllable. where the rest of their life is not. A lot of teenagers develop eating disorders because of what's going on at home. They don't know any other way of controlling things but they're eating. That's their personal space that they can control. So these are a few of the ways that we really try to bury that original belief that's nagging us in the back of our mind that says you're not good enough. And these are our ways of getting away with it. Thank you guys for listening. Happy Tuesday. I will pick up next week on where we're leaving off today.